Hey, hello, and welcome to an impromptu an impromptu R or Python session. We're going to take a brief look at the Gapminder package. A guy posted a comment to a video I made. It had showed the latest COVID-19 numbers for Pakistan and India. He said thanks. Could you do the same thing for India and China? Presuming he means COVID-19. Well, he said like population. Well, population, things like population, gross national product, those really fall. Those are really sort of the basic things that you will see as part of Gapminder. And I'm using um, Gapminder for Python here, and of course there's also a package of the same name, Gapminder for R also. There's also a Gapminder website because I can tell you there's a lot more to Gapminder than just GDP, population, and a few things like that. Okay. So anyway, let's come back over here. Let's come back over here. And I actually had Chatgpt do some quick code analysis for me here. Oh, log in. Oh no. This is going to be ugly. I'm going to open up this rather than try to log in again. And as you can see, the new version of ChatGPT, filter data, uh, so this is running okay. I'm actually running this on an Arch Linux laptop. It's an older laptop, 8 gigabytes of RAM. It has an older processor, which no one would probably even recognize. Takes a minute to load. I'm using Jupyter notebooks here. We have to come over here first of all. Okay, let's do a Control Z here. Let's do a this isn't part of the regular, apparently part of the one more time. It's part of Anaconda's package list. It is a fairly well-known package if you're looking for this type of data. You can see that the Gapminder list isn't even are we loaded over here? Okay, so we can just come over here now, and we'll just copy that. We won't even actually. We'll just come right over here. Toss the data in here. So now we're loading our libraries. So let's just run this and see if we get anything out of it. Ah, good, we did. Okay. Columns is country, continent, year, life expectancy, population, GDP percentage. Now GDP has something to do with the is it the gross national product divided by the population or something like that? And this is the one you see the most. Let's come over here. And see how it's calculated over here, okay? GDP per capita, log scale. Gross domestic product is the total value of all goods and services produced within a country in a specific time per person. So let's just add a little note up here. Add a note over there. So we'll leave this the way it is. And come back over to get the rest of the code. So we created the traditional DF for data frame, okay? Will this work? Okay, here we go. Oh, look at this. We got the continents, we got the population. So that's very nice. Probably GDP is the one that's the most common, okay? I mean, GDP per capita is probably the one you use the most because, there is, of course, a certain relationship between population and GDP because the more people you have that worked up to a point, the more goods and services you can create, you know. Let's go over here then. We got the proverbial histogram. Very nice. Population growth over time. So we're looking at this here, DF, year pop, and each, this is a line plot, and so we have a separate line for each continent. Estimator, sum. Interesting. Okay. See, this is basic stuff, but I'm not familiar with estimator. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. And again, Hughes should create one line for each continent. Oh, interesting. Okay. Okay. Estimator parameter in SNS line plot function, another simplicity, determines the statistical method used to aggregate the data for plotting. More detailed explanation. Purpose. It sort of interesting. Okay. It specifies how the data should be aggregated when multiple data points exist for the same X value. Default is a mean, which means the average value for Y data points. For each. Other options include median, that's interesting, median, sum, min, and max. Oh. Oh. So we got the his plot. But what we're going to do is interesting, okay. So these represent the continents and the population growth over time. So you can see, it would certainly appear that Asia has the largest increase in population over time, okay? Very good. Pretty good EDE, I would say. That's, okay. So that's that. I want to add a second. We're going to do two of these here, okay? Now this is more interesting, isn't it? You can still see that Asia has the highest increase. And we obviously got some error bars here. So this is, what's the next one up here? Is that Europe or Americas? What's the green? Interesting. Africa increased up until 1990, but it kind of leveled off. It's so interesting. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to change one of the we're going to do a second plot. Okay. Except we're going to do it median. Let's change this up here. Okay. Oh man, I'm thinking that so Africa has a lot of outliers. Oceania. This here is, of course, is Asia. Europe, Americas have some outliers also. Huh. Quite a bit. Of course, at this point, we would probably want a histogram for each continent. Hmm. This certainly is interesting. Well, you can obviously see that there's going to be a tail here, okay? And that's exactly what we see down here. Let's do this. Let's come back up here. And let's and you notice we don't really need to constantly come back up here. What? Life expectancy over time. What's been going on here now? And this will be the last plot, I think. Great idea. Now, of course, if this thing was really honest, it'd be like, is that the best you got? It'd be like, really? You know, I got the brain the size of a planet, and all you want to do is compare median age, median life expectancy to average life expectancy. That's it? That's all you got to work with? Oh, that's okay. That's not bad. So there isn't a lot of difference apparently between between the average. Now you could of course look at it over time, but we're not. So you can see there's not a lot of difference in these countries between median age an average age, which would mean that the life expectancy probably occurs within, a narrow range. Okay, if you had a big difference between average and median, that could indicate that the ages are spread out much more, from highest to lowest. All right. Well, let's try one more thing here. Let's see if we can come down here now. Quattro, render, now, if we were doing this in the VS Code, uh, you'd have to put the code block, the opening text with the Python and the curly brackets, and at the bottom of each at the end of each code block, you'd want to put three more backticks. Okay, but I don't think. Hang on one second. I gotta. So let's come over here quickly. Quattro. And this may not work. Oh. I think it's talking about this up here, maybe. Right. Well, I tell you what. I'm going to bring this session to a close, and I'll meditate on this later on. I may come over here and hey, you convert it to a straight Quattro file with all the closing brackets and fun stuff like it. Okay, so hey, thanks so much for your time. As you see, Gapminder can be very useful. You can combine Gapminder with other types of data. You know, anything you can use population to make a comparison with the data. You can use Gapminder for that. Okay, now of course Gapminder has a lot more data than just this, but this is the only. But both the Python library and the R library contain the same data. Of course, you can go out to the gapminder.com or .org website to get all the fun news. Okay, thanks so much for your time. Hope you found this enlightening.